I want to be great at the things that I do, but there's one thing that tends to sabotage me. It might be sabotaging you if you want to be great at the things you do, and so I thought we should talk about it. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Jonathan. I love to hang out on the corner of creativity, entrepreneurship, and faith, and so that's what this channel is. It's a place to talk about all of those things. It's a place for me to share my heart, my thoughts about that stuff, to talk with you if you like to hang out on the corner of creativity, entrepreneurship, and faith too. It's a channel for those of us creatives who want to grow in our craft and maybe even want to figure out how to make an income from what we do, and who want to think about what our faith in Christ has to say about all of this, how it affects it, and how we should see our lives in light of our faith, because we take that seriously. So I'm glad you're here. Welcome back to those of you who are not new but are returning. I'm excited to talk today about being great and how we can lean in to greatness. The one thing that tends to sabotage my ability to really lean into greatness is something that I've talked about before on this channel, but it's my own desire to be impressive. Being impressive and being great are two different things, and I don't think that we should stop growing towards greatness. I don't think we should stop leaning into greatness, but I do think that our desire to be impressive can really hinder our ability to actually be great. And that's because being impressive is about appearances and being great is about substance. If you'll hang with me, I want to talk today about two ways that focusing on impressiveness ends up hindering our growth towards greatness. I think the best way to jump into talking about this is to just tell you a story from my life of something that's been happening over the last 6 months or so. In August of last year, I decided to join a new gym. And one of the reasons why I go to this new gym is because a few of my friends go to the gym, and then I've been making some new friends along the way, and that's been really fun and really cool. Now, in the past, I've typically worked out alone, because the thought of working out with other people has just made me really nervous, because I am not an athletic person. I'm not an athletic person at all, mostly out of necessity, because when I was 1 year old, I had heart surgery. And so I was told that I couldn't really do a ton of athletic things. That's my excuse, at least, but I'm also a very creative, musical, live in my brain kind of a person. And so I don't know that I would have been overly athletic anyway. But I just didn't grow up playing sports. I didn't grow up learning how to train my body in any way. And I didn't grow up learning how to work out properly. I don't know how to do things the right way. All that being said, I have actually had a desire for most of my life to get into weightlifting. The very tiny bit that I've done, I enjoyed it. But I have just felt really insecure about being a 36-year-old dude who doesn't know how to do any of these things. It's really nerve-wracking to jump into a gym when, especially, you're older and you're new and you don't know what you're doing, and you're surrounded by a bunch of people who clearly seem to know what they're doing. One of the really cool things about the gym I'm going to is that it combines a lot of weightlifting and cardio. And I really love it, but I still feel pretty insecure about it, especially when I'm in a class full of a bunch of other people who are better than me, who have more experience in training than me in how to do these things. And if that weren't bad enough, they also track our heart rate at this gym. So I wear this little heart rate monitor, and they put everybody's heart rate on a screen, and that's to kind of help us gauge how our workout's going and gauge the health of our heart. Each workout has kind of like a target heart rate for that workout that you're trying to hit. And if your heart rate is really high, it turns bright orange. And a lot of time in each class, I am the one with the highest heart rate. And so my heart rate, it feels to me like a big flashing sign that I am the most unhealthy person in the class, because I'm still trying to just improve my heart health. And it can just be really humbling, to be honest. But you know what? I have to tell myself often, I'm not here to impress anybody. I'm here because I want to grow and because I want to get better. I'm here because I want to see what level of greatness I could achieve if I really lean into my physical health and I really lean into something that I've wanted to do for a long time. And so my first point is that focusing on impressiveness really trips us up, because growth towards greatness just doesn't feel impressive, at least not at first. And the everyday work that greatness requires, the work that really leads to greatness, ends up feeling in the moment pretty lame and mediocre. If I wanted to impress everyone at the gym, then I just wouldn't be going to the gym because no one is impressed by me at all. But you know what? That's okay because being impressive isn't my goal. That leads me to my second point, which is that greatness requires putting in the reps. And to put in the reps, we have to choose to put in the reps. We typically need to go through a valley of suffering in order to get stronger, to get wiser, to get better. And in order to choose that suffering intentionally, we have to have a vision for greatness. When my vision is impressiveness, then I can get easily discouraged and disappointed when I have to go through valleys of suffering. I can get really disappointed whenever my everyday work, when putting in the reps, does feel like weakness. It does feel lame. It does feel mediocre. And I can get disappointed and discouraged by the fact that no one sees greatness in me yet, that no one is impressed by me, no one is noticing me, no one is paying attention to me, no one is applauding the work that I'm putting in today. But, and I hope a lot of you creatives out there are listening to me when I say this, the fact that no one is impressed by me today doesn't determine anything about who I actually am, and it doesn't determine anything about who I will be unless I let it. A vision for greatness helps me lean into the reps today. I can be settled with who I am today, which is not the healthiest person in the gym, while really moving towards what I am trying to become. In general, the people around me don't care whether or not I put in the reps today. And they're also not that impressed by my vision for greatness. One of the problems with having a vision is that it's often lonely. People don't tend to get or see what you're building, you're growing, you're cultivating, you're forming, and you're growing. And greatness typically takes a long time. So a lot of times we have to sit in the loneliness of vision for a long time as we're really leaning into the things that we're trying to accomplish. We have to be able to sit in the growth that is required, the work that is required to lean into greatness for a long time, even when no one is applauding us, no one is really cheering us on in that thing. We may even need to be willing to bear some scoffing and some snickering from people who can't understand or don't believe in the vision that's driving us forward. We have to have a vision of greatness, a clear vision of greatness, in order to wake up every day and put in the reps and do the work that is required in order to be great. And the thing about trying to be impressive is that it's often very cloudy and vague, and it just doesn't have enough substance to fuel what's needed for us to be able to put in the reps day after day, and it just isn't substantive enough to really drive us forward. I framed a lot of these thoughts around gym language because it's just something that's been going on in my life, and it was the easiest way for me to think about how to explain this. But I hope it's not too far of a stretch to see that these principles apply to those of us who do creative work. As creatives, we can easily get sidelined by a desire to be impressive. We want someone to notice us. We want someone to speak into being who we want to be. We want someone to see that there's something special in us. We want someone to validate our desire to pursue creative endeavors. But like I've said this whole video, a desire to be impressive can be a real hindrance to greatness. To do our best creative work, we need to push aside our desire to be impressive. There's no shame in admitting that it's there because it's there in all of us. We all desire to be impressive, but it doesn't help us, and so we need to push it to the side and we need to substitute it for a vision of greatness. A vision for greatness will help you do each day's work with joy and with a sense of purpose. It will help you push through when you don't feel like you're very good at your creative work today. It'll help you push through whenever you're discouraged by the fact that not many people are engaging with what you're putting out into the world. It'll help you push through whenever you're getting some no's from people that you're sharing your creative work with. It'll help you push through when you feel lonely in your creative work. It'll help you push through when you're feeling like procrastinating, and even though you want to do your creative work, you're just having a hard time really wanting to do that today. A vision for greatness will help you push through, but a desire to be impressive will just kind of deflate all the effort that you need to put in today in order to do what you actually want to do with your creative work. I'm making these videos because I want you to know that I'm cheering you on, and because I want you to know that I'm in the same boat with you. I'm a creative person too, with a desire to put out great creative work. I want to put out the best work that I can. I want to really lean in and figure out how great I can be in the gifts and the talents and abilities that God has given to me. And I've definitely gone through seasons of discouragement because I've just been floating in self-pity. I've been having a pity party for myself because it feels like no one is impressed by me. And I've just had to internally decide, you know what? That's okay, because I don't need people to be impressed with me today. What I need to do is I need to have a growth mindset, and I need to lean into greatness. How can I be better and better and better at the creative things that are on my heart to do? I see you, and I know that that's you too. Or I know that you too are going to go through seasons where you're going to be tempted to be overly discouraged. You're going to be tempted to feel down about yourself because no one's that impressed with you. And I just want to help you continue to lean in to the creative work that is on your heart to do, and to lean into what greatness could look like for you. That's all I have for today. I'm going to be posting another video tomorrow. And so if you don't want to miss it and you don't want to miss future videos, the best way to know when the videos are posting is to go ahead and subscribe. I would be so honored if you would join me over here. That's all for now. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, friends.